Hello there, my name is Valerie White Williams and I'm a voice teacher and a vocal coach for Vocal Splendor Studios. Today I'm doing another reaction video, and this time I'm reacting to back in 1985. This is George Michael and Smokey Robinson performing Careless Whisper at the Apollo Theater in New York City. Let's have a listen.
It was what the Apollo was all about, and that's what it's still about. So, let's get underway. From the group Wham, George Michael and the great Smokey Robinson.
Those shoulder pads.
I feel so unsure as I take your hand and lead you to the dance floor. As the music dies, something in your eyes calls to mind a silver screen and all its sad goodbyes. I'm never gonna dance again. Guilty feet have got no rhythm, though it's easy to pretend. I know you're not a fool. I should have known better than to cheat a friend, waste the chance that I'd been given. So I'm never gonna dance again the way I dance with you.
Okay, I'm just gonna stop. This is my era. This is how I remember George coming out. In fact, I always thought he had a fabulous voice, rock solid. And this is an amazing song that he has written, and so many people have covered it. It is just classic. It's a lot of instrumental covers as well. And look at him. He's, the Apollo Theater is a pretty big place to perform, but he had such a solid instrument. I mean, of course, those shoulder pads were huge. I don't need shoulder pads myself, but such a fabulous voice, and another great singer that we've lost too soon, I feel. It was such a big voice, such a presence. So let's keep going.
Careless whispers of a good friend to the heart and mind. Ignorance is kind. There's no comfort in the truth. Pain is all you'll find. I'm
going to stop just a bit. Smokey Robinson was a bit before my time. Of course, I've heard of him. He's super famous, but he fit quite into the groove that Michael set and had this little more brighter instrument, a little more of a lighter instrument than Michael. Michael has a big voice. He doesn't always bring it out, but he has it. So I can't wait. Let's keep going.
never gonna dance again. Guilty feet have got no rhythm.
Nice
Though
ear.
it's easy to pretend. I know you're not a fool. I should have known better than to cheat a friend. Waste the chance that I've been given. So I'm never gonna dance again the way I dance with you.
Never without your love. Tonight the music seems so loud. I wish that we could lose this crowd. Maybe
so fun to watch. Early George Michael and kind of later Smokey Robinson coming together with a performance. That was pretty special. And that's when everybody could sing live. No enhancement, no auto-tune. People listened actually and tuned into each other so they could actually have great performances. Notice how spot on those guys' ears were? Because it's not just about the voice, it's about actually singing in tune. And with auto-tune, that means any old person can sing and they can fix it up and clean it up digitally. That's not the way it used to be in the 80s and the 70s. You had to bring it. You had to have that voice. You sang out of tune. You weren't really qualified to sing professionally. But now that's not the thing. I totally miss George Michael. He was such a great singer and kind of an underrated songwriter in my opinion because his singing was so fabulous. This happens even with Mariah Carey. She's such a great singer. You forget that her songwriting skill was so amazing. George Michael has done many amazing songs, but I think this is one of his most famous, I would say. And yeah, totally. Now, the interesting thing about that song and all the songs in the 80s is that there was a nightclub scene in the 80s, and it was in every town because it used to be that every restaurant had like a little mini bar, and then they would have stage, and they would have these cover bands perform, typically 5 nights a week. So any night of the week, you could go out and go have cocktails, if you're 21 or whatever the age group is, and you could actually watch bands and you could dance. And of course, these bands were really good. They didn't have auto-tune. They had to sing correctly. They had to know how to bring it. And that ended up dying probably in the late 80s, early 90s. And things changed. We started getting DJs. It was cheaper. It was, those little bars weren't happening anymore. So a lot of these songs from this era, especially like a Michael Jackson or Dancing Queen. And of course this one about going on the dance floor. Who's going to dance with me? Because we just don't have that as much anymore. It was a real scene. And when I turned 21, I'm not going to say when that was, but I lived in a small college town and there were like 5 clubs with live bands on midweek. I mean, it's crazy. It almost sounds like Disneyland, but that's the way it used to be. You could hear live music all over the place and with really good bands that were just regular people that were touring all over the place. So with George Michael, that rich, full voice was just so compelling. And I know for a while he did a little singing with Queen a bit because he has that big tenor, that big, round, rich sound. And then Smokey has that kind of a lighter instrument, but definitely bright and groovy. And he could, feel that they really sounded really well together because I think that Smokey took the top parts in the duo. And it was just so fun seeing 2 greats that we don't have anymore on the stage together. Yeah. So George, God rest his soul. He was a bit tortured near the end of his life, I think, but his legacy should still be kept up because he had so many amazing songs and was really iconic back in the 80s, and then he went solo. So if you love George Michael as much as I do, or Smokey Robinson, please let me know what other reactions I should do. And I'm interested in listening to Smokey as well as George. And of course, I really love the live because that's where the rubber hits the road. What can you do live without fiddling sound engineers trying to fix problems? Yeah, and I know a lot of sound engineers, and they've told me lots of stories of having to fix things with people. Earbuds in the head and all kinds of things. Yeah, it's real. All right, so, and also I want to let you know that if you're interested in lessons, I have some places in my studio for new students, and you can go to my website at vocalsplendor.com. I've actually been teaching online since 2011. That's when I first got my first online student. And also I want to let you know of my 2 free passion projects I have on Facebook. The first one is called Creative Soul Alignment, and it's a group of people that love the creative arts and spirituality. So we have crafters, poets, photographers, singers, songwriters. It's a great group. And because when we are creating, we are experiencing the divine flow. We are here to create this world, and we have the power to change it. So I just don't forget that. And the last group is YouTube Success Strategies, and that's where I am coaching people how to succeed on YouTube. because I've been on YouTube for so long. I've learned so many tricks and hacks. I'm teaching others how to get my success. All right, take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.